Hi everyone, in this video I would like to talk about template strings, which are a new addition to modern JavaScript. Now, before the introduction of template strings, we could create a string in JavaScript using either single quotes or double quotes. But template strings, they are very powerful. They are actually a very good addition to JavaScript, and they give us one of the most powerful features of the language, and that is using the value of a variable within a string. And this eliminates the use of concatenation altogether. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at an example. Let's say that we have a variable that is const. I'm going to call it first name. This variable first name, this is going to be Mark. And let's say we also have a last name. And last name could be, I don't know, like Oliver. And how would I put these two together? How would I say, okay, my full name is Mark Oliver. I'm going to say console. You know what? I'm going to store it in a variable. So const full name. One way would be like this, like first name plus last name. This would be one way of going about it, right? And then console logging the full name. Console log full name. Let's save it. And we can see we don't have any kind of, this is simple concatenation. We don't have any kind of space between the first name and the last name. We can add a space by adding an empty string and providing a space in there. This is going to add it. But as you can see, this becomes a lot of hassle. Now this is a very simple example of it. But what if you want to create, let's say, an HTML string, an HTML element within the JavaScript? Then you need to have, for example, if that HTML element, let's jump into the, for example, template string HTML, and I'm going to on top, let's say we have a section element, and you can see when I enter the section, it's indented towards the right by 2 spaces. And within the section, let's say we have a div. Within the div, we have a span element. And this is very clear that we are actually crossing to multi-line. So like we're going from 1 line to 2 line, from 2 to 3. And this is very normal for HTML. But how would you do this in JavaScript? Now with template strings, it's becoming very easy to create HTML elements with JavaScript. And I'm going to comment this one out, copy it down below, and I'm going to remove everything. Template strings, they start with backticks. Backticks are on top of the tab key on the left of the keyboard. It's next to the 1 key on the keyboard. And these are like a pair of backticks. You can use backticks to create a simple string as well. You can do that as well. So I could technically say first name, and I'm going to concatenate. This is backtick, a space, and then I'm going to say last name. And this is going to work as well. You can see it says Mark Oliver. But the good thing about template string is that not only you can create normal simple strings with backticks, but you can also use the variable values in backticks. How would we do that? Now, for that, we have a syntax that is a $sign and a pair of curly braces or curly brackets. And within these curly brackets, we can access the value of any variable if we pass in the identifier. So the identifier for first name is first name, and then I'm providing a space there, and then the identifier for last name. And that's it, Mark Oliver. So instead of going through all of this hassle, what we can do is we can simply create first name and last name like that. Now what I would like to do is I would like to create an HTML element as well. And I'm going to call it, let's say, I don't know, like services section. I'm not going to append it to any to any element within the HTML document. I'm just going to be printing it to the console so you can see how important backticks really are and how easy it is to work with them. So, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create backticks. I'm going to hit enter. You can see we have multi-lines in backticks. And I'm going to create a section element. Within the section element, let's say we have an H2 element. H2 element. And this says like, I don't know, like animal planet. Most of the times I just write animal planet. It's easier that way. And let's say we have a paragraph. This is a very, very important issue. I don't know, something like that. And there we go. And I'm going to close this section element right here. That's it. So we just created this. Let me comment this one out. We just created this with backticks, and this is I know this is all of this is hand coded, but you could use variable values within here as well. And I could say, okay, like instead of animal planet, I could say first name, and then I'm going to provide space, and I'm going to grab the last name. You could do that as well. And now let's console log this one. This was services. I don't know why I called it services section. And you can see we basically created this section element that has an H2. The H2 says Mark Oliver, and the paragraph says this is a very important issue. It doesn't matter what the content is. What matters is that now you know how you can work with backticks to create HTML elements very easily. And this is very important. I've used actually this a lot in my JavaScript course, where when you have an API call, and when you receive some data from the API call, you typically store it in a variable, and how you would go ahead and use that variable value within this H2. The best way, the easiest way to use that would be to use a template string or a template literal. That's it for this video. See you in the next one.